You've probably already made up your mind about which fuel type is best. Most guys walking into the grill aisle in April have. Gas guys think charcoal is a hassle. Charcoal guys think pellet owners are cheating. Pellet guys think everyone else is stuck in the past. I had my own opinion locked in too. Then I spent an embarrassing number of hours pulling apart the actual cost data, reading combustion chemistry research at 2 in the morning on a barbecue science website, and digging through forum posts from guys who've owned these grills for a decade. What I found made me rethink a few things I was pretty confident about. I'm going to give you the real 5-year cost of owning each grill type. Not the sticker price, the everything price. Fuel, replacement parts, maintenance, and what you can actually sell it for when you're done. Because the grill that looks cheapest at the store and the grill that's actually cheapest to own are not the same grill. Let's start with gas, because gas is what most of America buys. Around 43% of all grill purchases are gas. Makes tourist sense. You turn a knob, it lights, you cook, you're done. Propane is genuinely the cheapest fuel per cook at roughly $1. A 20-pound tank refill runs $15 to $18 and gives you around 18 to 20 sessions. The problem isn't the propane. The problem is everything the propane touches. Flavorizer bars on a Weber Genesis need replacing every 3 to 5 years at $55 to $84 a set. Burner tubes corrode within 5 to 12 years, another $50 to $63. And members on the virtual Weber bulletin board, including a former Weber employee, have documented newer Genesis models developing warped fireboxes and rotted heat shields within 2 years. The same guys will tell you their late 90s Genesis, with the cast aluminum firebox, is still rock solid. That's not nostalgia. That's a measurable quality decline Weber confirmed when they shortened their cabinet warranty. Added up over 5 years and 250 cooks. A Weber Genesis E325 at $999, $250 in fuel, $170 in parts. Net 5-year cost. After resale is about $1,119. That's $4.48 per cook. Now here's what everyone overlooks with charcoal. A Weber Kettle Premium costs $185. The forums are full of people running the same kettle for 15, 20, even 25 years with nothing more than a replacement grate every decade. Charcoal fuel runs about $2.50 per cook using Kingsford briquettes, but maintenance over 5 years is roughly $105. Total net cost after resale comes to about $855. That's $3.42 per cook. I mean, think about that. The guy buying a $1,000 gas grill to save money on fuel is paying 30% more per cook than the guy with a $185 kettle. Pay attention to this next part, because it explains everything about why pellet grills are booming despite the math not quite adding up. Convenience is a real feature. Set your temperature on a phone app, walk away, come back to smoked ribs. Ownership tripled from 3% to 9% between 2019 and 2021. I understand the appeal. The costs most people don't anticipate show up around year 2. Hot rod igniters die everyone to 3 years at $15 to $40 each. Auger motors seize from moisture, $30 to $50. Control board failures run $100 to $300, and that's a part charcoal and gas grills don't even have because they don't have computers in them. Then there's pellet cost. Traeger branded pellets run about $1 per pound. Pit Boss or Costco Kirkland pellets are 35 to 40 cents. Here's something Traeger doesn't advertise. Their pellets are not proprietary. Any food-grade hardwood pellets work in any pellet grill. You're paying for a brand name on compressed sawdust. A Pit Boss Pro 8.5. O at $549 with smart pellet buying lands at $3.52 per cook, very close to the kettle. Switch to Traeger branded pellets on that same grill and your per cook cost jumps 40%. And no, I'm not making that up. Now the flavor argument, because it starts the most fights. Meathead Goldwyn's team at AmazingRibs.com ran side-by-side rib tests with actual science advisors. Gas produces 0 flavor compounds when it burns. None. The flavor on a gas grill comes entirely from drippings vaporizing off the flavorizer bars. Charcoal generates compounds called guaiacol and searing when the cellulose and lignin break down between 650 and 750 degrees Fahrenheit. Those are the molecules your brain registers as smoke. pellet smoke is noticeably milder. Meathead described it as a string quartet versus a brass band from a charcoal burner. Half the pellet forums recommend buying a $15 smoke tube as an accessory. You're buying a supplemental device to add smoke flavor to a grill you bought specifically for smoke flavor, which, looking back, is either brilliant marketing or a design flaw, depending on how generous you're feeling. And for searing, charcoal just dominates. A Weber Kettle produces radiant heat above 800 degrees with food sitting 4 inches from the coals. That triggers the Maillard reaction, the chemistry that creates deep brown crust and thousands of new flavor compounds. Most pellet grills max out around 450 to 500 degrees with no direct radiant heat. As Meathead put it, most pellet grills are actually ovens. You wouldn't cook a steak in your kitchen oven. If you're finding this useful, subscribe. I cover grills and outdoor equipment every week so you don't have to wade through the affiliate garbage. Alright, so here's where it gets interesting. The forums tell a different story than the marketing. Across BBQ Brethren, Smoking Meat Forums, and Reddit, experienced guys almost all say the same thing. They love their pellet smoker, but they'd never use it as their only cooker. The smoke flavor just isn't there compared to charcoal. And the emerging dark horse recommendation is gravity-fed charcoal smokers from Masterbuilt and Char Griller. Set and forget convenience with genuine charcoal flavor and no electronics to fail. I personally think this is the most underrated category in outdoor cooking right now. One more thing before the verdict. If someone tells you to buy a Kamado Joe or Big Green Egg, understand what you're getting into. Ceramic Kamado grills are the tanks of the charcoal world. They retain heat like nothing else, use less fuel per cook, and the ceramic body will genuinely last a lifetime. But the Classic 3 starts at $1,899, and the accessory rabbit hole of pizza stones, heat deflectors, and rotisserie kits at $50 to $200 each adds up fast. 5-year cost per cook lands around $7.70. Incredible grills. Terrible value unless you cook 4 or 5 times a week. So here's the honest verdict. If you want the best overall value and you don't mind tending the fire, buy a Weber Kettle. $185, lowest 5-year cost, best sear, most complex flavor, and it'll probably outlast you. If you want set and forget convenience for long smokes, a Pit Boss Pro 8.5, at $549 with third-party pellets is the best value in the pellet space. Skip Traeger. Unless you're at the $1,200 tier, where build quality actually justifies it. If you want gas, buy a used late model Genesis from the early 2000s off Facebook Marketplace for $200 instead of paying $1,000 for a new one with thinner metal. The forums all say the same thing on that one. The grill aisle is designed to overwhelm you. The BTU numbers on the box don't tell you what corrodes first. The Wi-Fi bullet point doesn't mention the app that barely works. And the sticker price never includes the parts you'll replace in 3 years. Now you know the actual math. YouTube thinks you'll like this video, so tap on it, and if you made it to the end, subscribe.